zero. Let's start.
Good evening and welcome to the Nighttime Heat rated on Prime FM 105.5. We are streaming live on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. Just tap Nighttime Heat and of course go to follow the show online and also enjoy the show. We are also streaming live on Prime FM Morovia 105.5. Again, Prime FM Morovia 105.5. We are streaming live. That's the Nighttime Heat. Well, tonight it promises to be very interesting. We'll have a lot to talk, to talk with you, to discuss here tonight, to debate here tonight. And all of my panelists are coming on gradually. So let me just acquaint you with what is coming up tonight. Former Vice President Joy Howard Taylor is spending her first night, we understand, at the headquarters of the Liberia National Police after she was arrested and charged in connection with the ongoing drug investigation. We're going to talk about that today. We have a couple of videos when the former vice president was first approached by state security, the interactions. We're going to talk about that when she appeared at the headquarters of the Liberia National Police. We're going to talk about that when the press conference was held where the Attorney General, the Minister of Justice, announced the decision today. We're going to talk about that as well. Well, since the police invite to Bapuru County Senator Amara Corner, that invite continues to trigger a lot of pushbacks from other stakeholders. We're going to talk about that as well tonight on the program. And also, we're going to talk about, yesterday the government announced that it has agreed to take in 1,200 deportees, people from other countries who have agreed to come to Liberia. Now there's this debate that apparently the country has been turned into a country of deportees, where people from other countries are now coming to reside. And also there are others who are concerned about the arrangement under which those people are coming. Any benefits to the country? We're going to talk about that tonight as well. And then the 4-year project, the debate is still on. There are critics who are still thinking that there must be disclosure, full disclosure of the 4-year project, including the funding source as well. We're going to talk about all of that tonight. And hopefully, if time permits, we're going to speak with Mr. Sando Johnson, former Bomi County Senator. I'm trying to establish contact with him quickly. But in the meantime, let me try to welcome a guest. David, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, but I think there's a problem with my microphone.
Your mic is on, Dave. Your mic is on.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, I'm sure your mic is on. Welcome to the program and welcome back.
Thank you, Sabo. Thank you, and let me extend my gratitude to the folks on the show, especially you guys been doing a lot of incredible job. So it's good to be back and good evening to our folks in Radio Lane. And this evening we look forward to having a very interesting conversation as always. And so it's great to be back to do what I love best for our country.
Okay. Well, thank you, Anthony Lord. Since you got your degree, I always like to reference your title, my man. You did extremely well.
Well, thanks for that. And I think it's appreciated because these titles are not just earned. You have to work for it.
Yeah, sure.
But however, again, I'm glad to be here. Is just like due to the basic workload on me these days. Yeah. I will have to come intermittently. But whenever the need exists, definitely I will be here. And I'm glad to be here as it is tonight.
Well, thank you. We're hoping that our colleague Moses, will come on shortly. Pascal Davis will come on shortly. Samuel Jacob will come on shortly as well. I know our friend and brother is not feeling too well still. George Kennedy, wish him speedy recovery. But gentlemen, again, welcome to the program. Okay, let me welcome Moses also. Moses, welcome.
Thank you, Sabat. Let me say hi to my colleagues in studio. It is a pleasure to be here. Are you guys hearing me?
Yes, Moses, you are on.
Check your thing.
All right. It is good to be back. I have a real loaded schedule today, so I'll be here with you briefly. But it's always good coming to talk to you guys. Thank you.
All right, Moses, thank you very much. Welcome to the program. Now, gentlemen, today we woke up to the news of the invite. Initially, it started with an invite of the former Vice President Joe Howard Taylor. And then later on, we understand that the invite escalated to arrests. But let's bring this video. First, let's play this video when she was approached by state security.
They arrested they told to report the police station. People got guns pointed at me. They come in the car, have an EPA police to the police station. But the man people in the court, one of my agents are
going to no police station.
So the man said, I agree, I'm going. I'm going for a party of my heart to put my sugar down. The man want to say no, they want to I will argue. So in fact, she want to get outside, so I said, no, don't get outside. And we thought anybody told you. Yeah. But we
take the picture of that thing, let me post it.
I'm doing a video, man. No, we're not in for you, but I'm going to sing a fire. We in the car. We in the car with her now. No, the police don't care now. So I thought of 112, so that'll be the call in the convo. I want to know, we're not part of it. We're not part of nothing.
With my lawyer, when the lawyer can go there. Nonsense! Whole police dance out around my car. That lawyer some kind of criminal. Tell Andrew to take a picture of the thing, man.
Okay, I'm going to take a picture. Okay, I'm going to take a picture of it.
And the man who can't say I need 102?
112.
112. There's somebody else said I need 112.
Yeah, police commander.
There is nonsense, Gregory. I'm not doing anything with y'all.
I'm
not doing it. Hey, you're the poor fighting the security people here. No, I'm not getting in the ring.
I get my agent.
The police guns and walk to my car, Gregory.
Okay, so that was the first interaction. The former vice president had with the state security. Initially, she was on her way to Ghana when she was stopped from boarding the aircraft. Let's play the second video when she arrived at the LMP headquarters.
The Inspector General of the Liberia National Police, Colonel Gregory Coleman, is so the DEA director is here himself. So folks, the former vice president is coming in. So folks, we remain right here. The former vice president is coming in, folks. That's her protocol. Yeah, I know you're doing your work too, but I get black button bigger. So the former vice president has arrived. There you see her protective detail from the EPS here. Folks, this is the biggest name being mentioned in these investigations. Joe Howard Taylor, former immediate past vice president, if you want to use it that way, has arrived. Israel Akinsanya is also here. Israel Akinsanya is also present. Retired Major General Daniel Zianga, head of the LDEA, present. police director. There she is. So folks, the door has now opened. And all cameras are trained on what is transpiring. There she is. The former vice president is wearing maroon. She's flanked by Kabina Janet, former associate justice of the Supreme Court of Liberia. The former vice president is being ushered in. Israel Akinsanya is there as well. Her protective details. Jua Howard Taylor now enters the headquarters of the Liberian National Police to face investigators. So there she is, climbing the stairs, and she has now entered the headquarters of the Liberian National Police. The heavily guarded.
Okay, so gentlemen, we'll play the last video concerning the press conference that was held by the Minister of Justice or the National Security Team, because at that press conference, Greg Como also spoke there. Well, viewers, if you're watching the program, this is the Nighttime Heat. Kindly share the live video so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow what's happening tonight on the program. Now, let's hear from you. You are a lender, Anton and alone. The way the former vice president was approached by the police, especially when you saw them holding a long range and trying to stop her vehicle from going further. Let's hear you. In line with law, I want you to take all of that into consideration.
Basically, I think that was a total violation of her rights as an individual, irrespective of how we want to spin this. Yes, we all know that these are ongoing investigations. The fact of the matter that she was stopped from leaving the country without a writ of ne exit Republica, she cooperated and came back to Monrovia. If she had said, let me get to my house and drop my bag, getting to her house to drop her bag, to wait for her lawyer to come, wouldn't have changed anything during that process. But creating this whole scene where you had her in the middle of the road, gun being pointed at her vehicle, I think this is completely wrong. And, let us not try to spin politics around these things, irrespective of how we see it. This is a lady who has served our country, irrespective of whether she served under George Weah. But she was senator for a county. She was former first lady of this republic. We all are against drugs, whether it's in high places or whatsoever. But on our constitution, it talks about presumption of innocence. Yes, the state could come and say we have all of the evidence. They have to prove those evidence beyond a reasonable doubt before a court of competent jurisdiction. Not because you accuse her, so it means that she's guilty. So I think the display of authority today in the street was not actually necessary. It wasn't called for. She could have been quietly escorted to the National Police headquarters. She gets there, but trying to showcase all of this force. Come on, we in Liberia. This too shall pass. We all will look at each other. We live in a very small space where everybody know everybody. The police who are here today doing this thing, most of them yesterday were serving under the same former President Weah, and they were respecting the same former government official. We're not saying give them preferential treatment, but there are ways that you do it so that their dignity is protected. But Joe Howard Taylor is not just the Joe Howard Taylor we all know. Once she became senator, once she became a first lady, once she became a vice president, she's beyond Liberia borders. So sometimes you have to approach these kind of things with some level of professionalism so that it doesn't seem that you're trying to politicize this whole activity.
Thank you. That's your opening comment. Moses, let's hear you. You watched the video. What's your take? The video concerning her initial approach, by the police.
I concur with my brother Edwin family. Edwin is absolutely right. I'm not a lawyer, but when I saw the video this morning, I was a little bit disturbed that someone at that level in our society was denigrated like that at the airport. Like Edwin said, an allegation is not a conviction. You may have all evidence. And I'm sure as part of due process, one of the requirements is to notify the accused of the crime he or she is accused of. In this case, we didn't. And people opted. Power in a condescending way. I mean, we all want to see a society where the problem of addiction is controlled. But when people in law enforcement begin to come across like this, that brings into question their professionalism. So Edwin is absolutely right. Let me not hold up. He's absolutely right, and I agree with it. Thank you.
Okay. Well, one thing Edwin struck was that her rights, the rights of Joa Howard Taylor, was violated. Let's hear from you, Mr. William.
So basically, I'm going to look at this from the very perspective, especially coming from the angle of the psychological impact it has on the former vice president. With no disrespect to those of whom trying to exercise the law, or better still, trying to enforce the law, I believe legally there are prescribed guidelines to which the execution of the law must be channeled or must be followed. Was it done in the case of former vice president? No, absolutely. I mean, nobody going to. It's glaring, sober. When it comes to the restriction of citizens' movement, especially looking at that person at that level, a state actor, a state woman, you want to restrict her from leaving the country, which is a constitutional right to freedom of movement. That must be sanctioned by the court. If for any reason the team of investigators have sufficient leads, evidential leads, pointing to the former vice president allegedly involved to whatever transportation of narcotics, the question is, when they realize that the vice president needed to be invited, and why having them invite or since or invited or since or when they collected those pieces of evidence. And that's to say it continues to create their impression in the minds of citizens that it is the action displayed by the police was targeting. This woman has been in the country for the past 3 months since the investigation has been going. Only the day that she's about to leave the country for what you refer to as a national invitation to attend a women's forum or a women's national women's forum there in Ghana, and you're trying to stop or prevent her from exercising that constitutional right guaranteeing her, which is access to free movement. That must be sanctioned by the court. So any action that was done, as it is proven that the court never sanctioned that, it's unconstitutional, it's unlawful.
Okay, the lawyer has already spoken to that. And yes, I agree with Edwin. Edwin, he's a Anton law. He studies the law. He said it was a clear violation. The show of force to did against the former vice president. Now, Dave, let's hear you.
Another point of it, gentlemen, is that I believe that had the police notified the former vice president on this particular meeting with her, I don't think she would have dared pack her bags to have left the country. I don't think so. But the fact that the police must have not notified her, she decided to travel as a free citizen. So her arrest really shocked the nation. And I too was shocked when I saw the early video. And to admit, the police officers that approached her, I think at the airport, It was the first video you play, right?
Mhm.
It was at that airport. That approach was absolutely disrespectful. The fact of the matter is that she was invited as a person of interest, not a prisoner, not somebody who's been already indicted. She had not even been charged. So the approach supposed to have been professional. Even if she were already considered I don't know, a suspect. But there's a matter of the amount of approach, in my view, was absolutely wrong. And that was unprofessionalism. The police officers were not professional.
But they were
And
acting on orders.
they were acting on the order. But in all fairness, Sabo, in all fairness, you cannot, in fact, look at their conversation. In fact, you listen to them talking. You know what I mean? You're creating, an issue that's supposed to have been peacefully handled or amicably handled. You created a violent scene, so that creates an impression that it was premeditated. It was premeditated that we have to, stop her from traveling without disgrace. So that's the picture you painted. That approach was agreed, and I agree with everyone that, on this one, I disagreed with the approach of the police. After all, and if Jewel, I don't want to believe that Jewel would have defied the police or the justice ministry had she received a prior notification that she shouldn't leave the country.
Okay.
All right, so the timing of the incident today, I mean, that what is bringing about.
Let me hold you there. Let me hold you there. And go to Pascal to get his initial response as well. Pascal, you listened to the video. You saw the video in fact I would play. What is your take regarding the manner in which the police, officers approached the former vice president? Mr. Davis, Pascal.
Yeah. Am I live now?
Yeah, you are live. Let's hear you quickly.
Yeah. So it's just the normal routine of the police on Gregory. I mean, aside from being a former senator, former first lady, former vice president, even at the airport, she was not arrogant. I want to believe, after receiving that information, that she was a person of interest and she needed not to travel. She adhered to the code of the police and decided to come back. While on her way, Joy have asked the police to stop home and change. And what did the police say? No, you have to go to the police station. I am not going. I'm waiting for my lawyers. Of course, all of us here know Pamela is a lawyer. You know, all of us. I mean, basically, we are entitled to have own lawyers in those kinds of cases. The police said no. But let me ask you a question before I close. We heard that Johnny Dean received $10,000 in the $19 million just case. Is it how Johnny was treated? We also heard that Moses Jalad received $5,000 and undermined the police investigation in the just case, 19 or 300 million. Is it how Moses Jalad was treated? Then we need to ask ourselves, is this the country that we invaded 5 years ago? Is this the country that all of us dreamed that President Bouhaka could come and change? We need to ask. I mean, it was not just a violation of Jewish rights. It was any sudden affront, an attack on the Constitution. Not only on the Constitution, it was also an attack on critical forces. So with this now, all of us now know that yes, the police is only targeting citizens. And that's what we want to say. The investigation will not be passionately done because Gregory have already decided that yes, we want to target people in the opposition. This is our point.
Okay. Let me hold it. Our viewers kindly share the show, share the live video. We are streaming live tonight, as usual, on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page as well. That's the Nighttime Heat. Just tap Nighttime Heat. You're going to follow the show online. We are also streaming live on the Pram FM Monrovia 105.5 We want you to share the live video so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow what's happening tonight on the program. Now, gentlemen, when the issue, I think the media institution that broke it this morning was Punch FM. And early this morning, and that was seen by my wife, and immediately, she called my attention. And so what I did was to send a message, because Joel was just here a month ago. Okay, a month ago, she was here as our guest. But before then, I've been knowing Joel around, the former vice president. And so I called, I texted, and there was no response. I called, and immediately I called, less than a second, she picked up the call. I said, "What am I seeing on the social media?" So, "Oh yes, in that hall, beautiful tour. I'm here, and I'm at the airport, and I've been stopped. I was trying to go to Ghana." And she started to explain and explain. And she said, "I'm trying to make my way back, to Monrovia, but let me come back again to you. Not again, but come back to you, Mr. Edwin Famole, our Anthony Agor. Now we'll go into the charges that were slammed on Joel. You indicated initially that her rights were violated.
Yes.
Now she's spending her first night in detention. What do you think her lawyers now need to do? Because first, let us not go into the charges, but the fact that her rights were violated. Do you think they can approach it as a separate case before going into the main case? Is it possible?
No, right now, before the court, there will be those charges that the state has brought against her. And the police has they obviously have the right under the 1986 Constitution to hold her for within 48 hours, charge her and file her to court. The problem right now is that the issue of drug with the new drug with the new drug law is a non-billable offense. But however, let's see how that plays. Whether they are going, her lawyers would take a flight to the Supreme Court to look at the due process, to look at what role did she play, what evidence does the state has, because mind you now, this is a criminal matter, so the state has to prove all of those charges beyond a reasonable doubt. And this was our fear, that if you try to spin this around politics, it's not going to play well for the state. And at the end of the day, the court now will have to rule based on the evidence that is going to go before them. I know like we said, we'll go into the charges, but her lawyers have, lengthened it of different options before them. They will wait for the indictment to come from the court, from the grand jury, to the court. And then based on that now, once she's forwarded to court, if she's remanded behind bars, then they will not have to find other remedy to see how best they can. Maybe the Supreme Court may look at the drug law and say, look, there are issues here because based on the evidence presented by the state, we cannot keep her in jail, or based on the evidence presented by the state, we can keep her in jail. First of all, is she at flight rate? No. So those are different things that will be discussed, between the judge, the lawyers. And if the lawyers don't feel satisfied with some of those discussions, they have the right to go to the justice in chambers, with those matters. But like I said, these are troubling times for our country. And we need to treat these kind of things with cautions, because whether we like it or not, Liberia is deeply politically divided, irrespective of how we look at it or what we see it. At the end of the day, it is the same Liberians that are going to sit as jurors on this matter, and that they're not coming from outer space. They're listening, they're looking at what's happening, they're seeing the way the police treated Madam Joa Howard Taylor from the airport all the way to the police station. They've also been knowing her for the time. They know that even her own family, she had some kind of circumstances, with the same drug addition to her own child, the only child she has that she lost. So all of those things will come to play. And at the end of the day, well, I wish the state good luck, but
Okay.
It's going to be a very uphill battle for them.
Okay, now Dave, let's dig into this question that was asked not the Inspector General, but the spokesperson of the Liberia National Police. Because even Joa herself said it to me, that because that was the one question I wanted to know. But are you aware that you are under an investigation, and you're still trying to leave the country? She said, no, I'm not aware. This is strange to me. I've never received any notification. But the question was asked the police spokesperson by one of the reporters as to whether, Joa was notified that she was under investigation. And the police spokesman said, that is not necessary now. The fact now is that she is. Do you think that was an appropriate question?
That answer he gave was reckless. Absolutely reckless. You ask a question. You ask a question instead of answering the question.
Yeah.
I mean, you appreciate in a way that is not necessary. I said initially the suburb. I don't think a Jewel would have dared travel out of the country if she were notified. If she were given prior notice, I don't think she would have been that defiant to say she was leaving at all costs. Because she was not notified that she was needed or considered a person of interest, she packed her bags and was traveling out of the country on a scheduled visit to Ghana. And so the manner in which the whole interception was processed, it creates a lot of suspicion that then the usual thing, witch hunt, comes into play, and then you're creating the picture of a witch hunt because she was traveling, she's been in the country, she was not notified about wanting her to come and answer some questions regarding her being a person of interest. Now she's going at the airport, you stop her from going. So you're creating a different, atmosphere where many people be suspicious of the government of going after a particular group of people, because had the police handled that matter professionally, although who must have stopped her at the airport, had they approached her professionally and guide her to the police station, that many questions would have been asked as we are speaking.
Okay.
And the other thing again is that the first thing is that no one is above reproach. Jewel is accused of having link to the cartel. She has already been charged and subsequently be sent to court. And as you said, the burden of proof lies on the shoulder of the government, because bringing such a grave allegation, suspecting Jewel of having a connection to cartels, it raises a lot of concerns. And so the approach is what the government needs to handle, ensure that it's handled professionally and within the confines of the law, and not do it in a way that it would dampen the whole investigation that is going on.
Okay.
But the important point of it is not only local investigators that are pursuing the matter, looking into this matter. I understand there are international partners, some from the FBI or from the USDEA. They're all part of the investigation now, because that has been the recommendation.
All right, let me hold that, Dave. Let me hold that and go to Moses quickly.
Yeah.
Moses, you've been, a mass communicator for quite a long years now. Do you think the response from the police spokesman to the journalist at the time asking him whether there was any notification, whether the woman knew that she was under investigation, and he said, well, that was not important for now. Rather, she's already at the police headquarters. Do you think that was an appropriate response to the journalist by the spokesperson?
Absolutely not. the police communication director was being dismissive. He said, look, we don't have time for that. Right now, we are focused on Joel being held. And that is where we need to understand here. Before Joel was charged, my assumption would be that she was considered a person of interest. And when somebody is a person of interest, it means investigators have determined that this person may have witnessed the occurrence of a crime, may have been linked to a crime. The person may have meaningful information that could help the investigators. That's why they will call you in and talk to you. Based on the outcome of that discussion, the police would then determine whether there is a probable cause. Do we have the evidence now to say that this person is indeed a suspect? When that is established, then the police will charge you and link you to the crime. In the case of Joel, that was not a situation. She received no notification. She was never elected. She was never given the right to say, hey, look, Madam Taylor, we have, suspicion. We want you to talk to us. Can you please avail yourself? That opportunity was never given to her. Instead, the police chose to be overzealous. And that is where the integrity of the police come into question. The integrity of Colonel Gregory Comer comes into question. When you have a director of police who is trying to prove a point that, hey, I am the most powerful person, I can do anything in pocket, I can accuse you, I don't have to answer to you. That creates serious problem for the investigation. And I hope people in Liberia are looking at the way Gregory Comer is proceeding. You can be violating the rights of people and you say you are dispensing justice.
Okay, let's go there, Moses. Let's go there. You were at the press conference today, Mr. William, and the issue of there are a couple of issues that were raised, especially when the IG was answering the questions from the journalist. And this issue about Dane, is that a name?
Yeah, Johnny Bola Dane.
Johnny Bola Dane came out, where some journalists were concerned that this is a man who admitted of saying you did ask that question. What was the response that you received from the police IG?
Well, the police IG, in all fairness, I think there have been a whole lot of gap created for his response. And if you, on a criminal investigation, which has been a customary tradition, the admittance of committing a crime or the commission of a crime justify to what degree a guilt is being upheld. So under the law, what is required of the police is to formally charge you and forward you to court. For the fact that the police IG was the one himself who announced that Johnny Bola Dane 106 admitted to investigators of receiving $10,000, which is under the law bribery, and bribery is a criminal offense.
And besides, which links to the cartel.
Which links to the cartel.
Okay.
Which links to the cartel, obviously. And bribery is not a civil offense, it's a criminal offense. And you are conducting a criminal investigation. You have one of the officers who is admitting of committing a crime. And you say, no, now that the brother have admitted, you rather send him to the professional standard for whatever the investigation. And today he also announced that department has concluded their investigation. The Johnny Bola Dane is now going to another department called Crime Service Department for another investigation. What is that? The Attorney General said that we should conduct, connect the doubts. How is the ID connecting the dots in the case of Jody Boladin? I think he's missing it. He's missing it. And the place he missed it was the very first day. If there was the entire intent of how they could, according to him, that under the police, the administrative way of handling officers of the police. Remember, the officers of the police, they are librarians. And when it comes to criminal matters, there is a one format criminal matters are handled. Criminal matters starts with the police and ends at the court. So you cannot have a fellow who is at the police admitted or committing a crime, and then the police, you still have the authority to send a man to the professional standard division for investigation. That is being concluded, and then you send it again to crime service division for another investigation. What is that? So that alone continue to fuel what we call public distrust into the entire investigation. See today the manner in which the former vice president was treated, as if to say she was already indicted. You understand? I don't want to talk about being convicted, because if you say apparently the person was indicted, maybe that's the reason why you're trying to prevent them from leaving the country. But that will be done through the court. The woman is just a person of interest, and you have information to come to answer to some of these claims, and you didn't write her, you didn't notify her. Only on the day that you knew that she was traveling, and your intelligence has been so much mature to have done fed you with that information, and all you needed to have done was to bring public humiliation to the woman. And the psychological issue I talk about, Sabo, this is the woman who is still trying to recover from the trauma of the death of her son. The woman, the whole government was so concerned. In fact, the president paid a visit to her as a word of extending his condolence. That is the woman who is still mourning her one child. And you as a state actors, you want to approach these people under the law. There is something they call emotional intelligence. There is something they call psychological intelligence. How you engage issues. That you don't break the people down. Because mind you, if for any reason Joel would have collapsed at the airport, would the police have gotten information from her? It would have impeded the entire investigation.
Okay, let me hold it. Now, let me go to you, Mr. David Tabo, before I can come to.
Now, I wanted to comment on something you said
quickly. Yes, go ahead.
About the police taking Boladin, right? Boladin from one department to another department. Look, the police has its own procedures in investigating its personnel when they are suspected of committing crimes. So the police has its own procedures. And until they exhaust their own procedures, if it is necessary or legally appropriate to forward that person to court, dismiss them or send them to court, that will happen. So the police has its own procedures. I think it's a trend.
So let me ask you, David. Let me ask you. Now, if you talked about police having its own procedures, do you know the number of police officers who are today on a great investigation? If you say, okay, they are all from the police institution, and so let's treat them the same way, then you think that would have had some of them in detention today?
Well,
Wade Kwabo, the man who used to be the highway police patrol, right?
Yeah, commander.
So if you say, okay, let's say that, no, I'm coming because you're trying to raise the issue about standard. You're trying to, your colleague said, look, the way the Dinga, Boladin, then take it to another department, and he thinks that, it's not appropriate. But now you are saying, no, the police has its own standard. So then why would Kwabo be in jail? Why would others and Ding is not? So why don't you think the police could just say, well, let's use the same standard on the rest of the other people?
Like Mr. William, who isn't a police officer or is an officer.
No, I'm actually a question. No. It's not I'm not going to answer. No, it's not.
I'm not going to answer any straight question.
We raise an issue.
Give me a chance.
And you're trying to defend by saying that the police has its own standard.
Yeah.
You know what? The standard cannot be applied.
Sabo.
Apply for Kwabo and the rest of the other police officers.
That question should go to Gregory Coleman. But what I'm saying is that it is not Guion that's going to tell the police that you shouldn't follow your procedures. The people have their standard procedures. The member investigator in this department, as he said, and they take them to another department.
I want you to put your rational thinking into work, David.
What does
and
that
not breaking up this issue about police having its own standard. David.
But police has their own standards.
But
Whether you believe that. But I'm disagreeing with.
You keep.
He was transferred to the professional standard division for investigation.
Surely.
And the reason for that is that because he admitted to receiving the money. So based on that, he was sent to the professional standard division. And then based on that investigation, the police would take actions. And that's why Gregory said in his interview, if there are evidence linking him to the cartel, definitely he will be prosecuted. He would definitely face the full weight of the law. The reason for Kwabo and others who are still behind bars, because their investigation is still ongoing, and they're going to be indicted and forwarded. This man is saying that I only receive money in order to give the people comfort, right? But it's a one of the hotel. I think even the other Fula guy who was arrested, they were all in our party, either the Brown guy or one of them or so. So these evidences are there, and definitely once the professional standard division conclude its evidence, is going to make a recommendation to Gregory. So these are the evidence that Boladin had contact with these people. He worked with them. He know them. He know even the lady that brought the money to him. She's related with this person. And based on that now, the police will be compared. The police will be compared to turn Boladin over to the Ministry of Justice for prosecution, because definitely the chain will be there. The links will be there. But I don't see Boladin going back to work in the police.
Okay, let's go to you, Pascal Davis. This whole issue came as a surprise today to all of us. And we watched the video concerning how the police approached the former vice president. She's just not a former vice president, but a one-time senator of Bon County, a one-time former first lady. So Joy is just not a small potato, if we put it that way. Is it concerning to you as an individual and someone who also knows her very well and have some association with her institution as well? Is this concerning to you?
Well, Sobo, all of us want a just-free nation. We want a corrupt-free nation. This is our core. We don't want anybody to get preferential treatment. We want everybody involved with the just to be treated at once. This is our core. So, a person of interest, in my mind, in my thinking, logically, critically, the lawyer is here could even help with the investigation. Because when you are a person of interest, you are not being found guilty right away. You could help, of course, because there's an information in my thinking that the police or the investigation would need. Maybe for you, that could help the process. You could turn out eventually to become the state witness in all of civilized society. I have seen that severally. the case with the Capitol building case with President Popo trying to be a state witness. Of course, Joel could be the same. Now, somebody is telling me here on the show, David, that yes, because the police got something called the PSD, the Professional Center Division. So Johnny D will submit himself to that system. If he's not being found guilty, according to David, then we can let Johnny go because the Professional Center Divisions have investigated Johnny, even though he admitted of receiving 10,000 to provide comfort for George Catio. Yes, David is saying we need to follow that process. Again, before that is done, if he's found guilty, then we send him to the CSD, that is the Crime Service Division. All these practices must be exhausted first before Johnny goes to court. This is David's argument. Well, I'm not going to argue that. A lot of people who are rational think about it. But again, let me say this to you. For us, we tour all the radio stations in the country. The last time I checked, same police said to all of us, I don't know whether William was at that press conference, he said he wouldn't speak to any of the just matters besides it being talked about at the Mission Information Cultural Affairs and Tourism. Same police is on the record of saying that. Today, we're asking St. Collins as to whether Joel received a proud notice of invite. And he said, well, he's standing interested. All he's after is that Joel is at the National Police Headquarters and proceeding must be done. So we ask ourselves in this room, in this little room, all of us there, I know we mean well for our country. We want to see a better society. I've always said, I'm not in support of anybody who want to undermine the future of our children. This is the reason why we are sounding loud and loud and loud every day. My man, my brother, David, I'm asking you again. Is this how Johnny was treated? Is this how Moses Brown, who received 5,000 according to the police, from the drugs cartel to compromise and undermine the investigation? Is this how Moses Jara was treated? Compare those
Pastor Brown, can I answer that? So the point here is that what I said is the police has not exhausted its own standard procedures.
No, you can't be insinuating. You can't have perception. You have to stop that.
Pascal. Today,
you can assume. You can assume.
No,
are you assuming? Are you the person of the
let him land. 1 minute.
Pascal, you sat there and Edwin family, Attorney Law Anthony family took you through the procedures. Then at the end of the day, if they finish with they finish exhausting their own internal investigation, the director of police or the authorities of the police will forward the man to the Justice Ministry for prosecution. That's the procedure. So they haven't exhausted their own procedure. Edwin took you through that. Well, and I also disagree. I agree with you. The part that I agree with you on is that look, and I personally, other world-renowned librarians, do not want anybody to be treated exceptionally or preferentially when it comes to, the legal process. Because if we were an ordinary person, if it were an ordinary person that was picked up at the airport in connection to the drug thing, I don't think we would be hearing a lot of voices that we're hearing now. But because she's a former vice president, she's a former first lady, and she's arrested. Though that approach, I have problem with the approach at the airport, but the law does not discriminate. And I'm hearing people say, "Oh, because her son died, yes, of course, other us express our sympathy," but the law does not consider all those things. The first of the thing is that what we should be talking about is the due process must be accorded.
Okay, let me hold you.
Yes, so I mean, it's just pathetic to see the manner in which they're trying to spin this politically.
Oh.
On a criminal investigation, it's a standard proceeding. On a criminal investigation, when a crime is committed and you have suspect admitting of committing a crime, there is nothing about investigating anymore. Whoever that has admitted will be charged and forwarded to court. That is the proceeding. That is the customary tradition of our criminal justice system. Why do they want to change it? You want to spin it? Or because you've got or the Inspector General have given you a point and say, oh, we stay investigating. And that is being very hypocritical. You cannot have members of the LMP, that the Moses guy we're talking about, who, according to the police, allegedly received 5,000, and today he's being placed behind bars, as we have informed. The quabble, without quabble. These are members of the police. So if they are members of the police equally as Johnny Boladin, why is it that the professional standard division or the crime service division couldn't be applied to them? Then that day you could see the fairness in the discharge. If the Inspector General want to convince the Liberian people to say, oh no, the reason why Johnny Boladin has not been charged and forwarded to court, it is because as police we have a separate proceedings different from the Constitution. Or different from the
so then the question is, and Edwin was trying to explain that, but I want for Edwin to go further in trying to educate us as to what normally happens in criminal investigation. But Edwin was trying to, have us informed that look, maybe the reason why Johnny Boladin, is treated the way he's treated, or his case is handled the way it's handled, is because of his admission.
His admission, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the others didn't admit. But
Yeah.
in criminal investigation, comrade, the fact that he admitted and admitted receiving from a member of the cartel to give some preferential treatment. Make us understand what happens normally in criminal investigation.
Admittance to a guilt doesn't in any way take away the criminal act that you have done. It's just what it does. It just help to soften the investigation procedures, not putting the state through all of these different processes. But after that, that's why I say now, he admitted to receiving the money. He said for comfort to the guys who were in jail, So now what the police is doing is to go beyond his admittance, beyond his statement. Was the money actually given to him for that purpose? Where did the money come from? What is his relationship with this whole cartel? So it is now at the professional standard division that is now going to link all of those doubt, all the different doubt to say, okay, no, but this can only be, for comfort. And Johnny cannot just say to us that he just get to know these people now when he has had relationship with maybe the Ryan Bar guy, the other one, or the brown guy. Yeah, Johnny, we saw you at a party with these people. What is your relationship with them? So based on that now, they can gather more evidence and present it now to the Ministry of Justice for prosecution.
Okay, so gentlemen, very shortly we'll go into the charges. But before we can go into that, let me read something on the Facebook page of the chairman of the Coalition for Democratic Change, Janga Ko. He said, in quote, your strategy is dead on arrival. You cannot intimidate us. You cannot scapegoat the government's complicity in the cocaine case as evidenced by all the dismissals and suspensions of government security actors and other officials. Harassment of former Vice President Joel Howard Taylor won't help the government. There will be full accountability of the government and government actors for the cocaine. Now, this is how I'm sure the entire institution of the CDC is seeing this as an harassment. And let me hear from you, Moses, a case of. Let me hear from you, Comrade. Do you share the view with of what Cole just posted?
Well, I share some of the things he said, but not in its entirety. The first thing, I don't want to believe this could be a strategy, to target CDC. I don't want to believe that, because remember, the Inspector General of the Police, announced a few months back that this investigation, you have senior government officials of present and past government. So, former Vice President Taylor has been just one of those, higher ups from the past government who's been, who knows tomorrow whether he could reach out to another senior government official of the past administration, or who knows, perhaps this current administration may target to most senior officials other than the deputy director for NSA and the deputy director for the airport. What I agree with you on in terms of the approach. The approach you mentioned that is clearly intimidation. Of course, it is, and that is no different of harassment. This lady has never been informed duly as required by law for any reason, security-wise, and the police may smartly want to justify to say we've been trying to connect the doubts, and it was today we reached at the conclusion that indeed the evidence we have can bring her in for investigation. It was the same today we discovered that she was traveling, and it was the same today. Therefore, we acted because it was today we completed our investigation that indeed she should be invited. And having noticed that she was traveling, we had no option but to go in. That could be a smart justification, but a state cannot legally clarify the right of Joy being harassed or the right of Joy being, or being put under pressure. And it's intimidating. Like I said, there is a state woman. She is not an ordinary citizen. Everybody know the profile of former VP Taylor. We don't want to go into that for the sake of time. Okay. So if this woman is going to be brought into for the investigation, there should be some level of dignity. And not just to her as a person, but to womanhood. Remember the way the manner in which you treated former vice president, you don't this kind of signal is sent out to the international community, even to the UN women. So these are some of the things we're talking about. Law enforcement officers should exercise their right in a more orderly manner so that it does not enfranchise the right of others.
Okay, Dave, do you share the view of Janka?
Well, the issue of the fight against drugs or the ongoing investigation is, to hope that the government succeeds in getting to the bottom of the investigation, and people shouldn't see it as wish hunt or some selective justice. The first thing is that look, those who have been arrested or been called for investigation, I guess that no matter which party or which government they worked for, I don't think it's on that basis that government is calling these people. Like in the case of Joy Howard Taylor, that Janka says is harassment. Yes, to some extent, it amounts to harassment because she was not accorded due courtesy. The approach was uncouth. She was not given due courtesy. That can be interpreted as being harassment. But saying that, you're spinning it around on politics. Look, all those who the police have a clue that they have a link to the cocaine business, the police will call them or the government invite them for investigation, no matter which government they worked for or which government they did not work for. So let's see it as being, let's beg, let's pray that what the pressure we should be put on the government is to ensure that there's a transparent investigation. There shouldn't be selective justice when it concerns an official of the United Party government. That person should be brought out for investigation. Okay. If the person comes to the opposite, but the same people who are talking today now, they have been calling for the government to, have been accusing the government of shielding, some of the VIPs connected to the drugs. Now, some of the VIPs are now being called for questioning. People are also talking about, selective justice. So how do we run a country like that?
Okay, let me hear from Pascal Davis. Do you share the view of Ms. Janka Kaur alleging harassment? Yeah.
It is difficult to defend lies. It is so difficult to speak truth to power when you compromise. It is so difficult to defend when your stomach is in wheelbarrow, it's been put around. Somebody admitted, that yes, it amounts to harassment, but not harassment. That contradiction. I don't know where in this world people come to contradict themselves every day. Look, I said to somebody peaceful death is better than peaceful life. Joelle was not only harassed, she was intimidated. At the National Police Headquarters today, you saw the police assaulting Gray on video, on camera. Akara's Gray, former lawmaker. They say now, when somebody go to the police headquarters and people go in the fence there to show solidarity, someone is your crime, or that place is not for citizens, especially for Akara's Gray, because we saw him being pushed today. Today, the police and Koti, you are not due yet. My people, if somebody right is violated, if somebody rights is undermined, it's impeded upon, it's encroached upon, and you don't call that intimidations and harassment, then we need to know which planet you from. But Sobo, let me say this. This is the way the guys will act. All the police guys you saw today acting, they were not acting themselves. They were acting based on order. Of course, moving forward, this is what we plan, and this is how seditions will be treated.
Okay, so gentlemen, I know every point and every minute of the day, we are getting new dimensions to the whole this whole drugs investigation. Martin Corley has just posted and written something, and I think we need to go into that before we can go also into the charges. And let me read what I have quickly. And let's listen to this. Martin K. and Corley writes, the cartel must be dismantled. As a country, this could just be our last opportunity to dismantle it. There should be no sacred cow in this national fight against drug traffickers and drug trafficking organizations. Any current I'm trying to go and get it. Let me try to get it. It's very long. Let me try to get it quickly. Okay. Again, let me go there. Okay. Now, he says, he wrote, there should be no sacred cow in this national fight against the drug traffickers and drug trafficking organizations. Any current or past government official who's linked to and connected with drug trafficking should be made to fully account for what they have done to our country. We are now turning on the Liberia National Police, LNP. Tighten your seatbelt. We are firstly starting with the cars that were procured from abroad. These are 100% verifiable facts that neither RG Cuomo nor anyone can deny. This is your first time to have seen these cars, black Jeeps. They were bought and are owned by the Liberia National Police. These vehicles are not government procured or government funded cars. No PPCC, no GSA, no GOL funding, nothing at all. The police RG has already admitted to these hard facts truths. If he denies, then we move to the next level. These cars, valued at over US 150K, were procured for and or purchased with cash from police RG Greg Cuomo. The RG received cash gift to buy these cars. And again, the cash did not come from the government and or the police budget. Besides these, some cars were also gifted in Liberia. The 3 cars were bought in Minnesota, USA by RG Cuomo. Budi George Quentin Russell, who he since brought from the USA to work in fleet management at the Liberia National Police. Joss is the brother of Winfred Russell. The car has already been procured and is being shipped to Liberia. The IG has already admitted to all of these. For instance, one of the jeeps that directly for IG Comer was bought for over US 90,000. It's important to note that while Joss Quentin Russell operates at the LMP Fleet Management Unit, he also owns 40% and runs a private maintenance and a motor vehicle dealership garage in Congo Town, where LMP cars are sometimes maintained, repaired contracts. We have attached snap pics of Joy's business registration documents. We'll give the IG the benefit of the doubt to confess. We'll give him up to 48 hours to address these hard facts of the 3 cash gift cards as we roll out more pieces of evidence. Since it's not from the government and from the government who gave IG Comer the money to buy them, the IG
stuttered
or fumbled for several minutes just to answer this simple question. Fellow Liberians, please be patient. We'll get this soon. This is an evidence-based exercise. No rush. We call on the police IG to immediately resign and step aside from all proceedings of the US 336 million investigation because he's compromised and he has had direct link, relationships, conversations with the cartel, including Leroy Harris. Please go and listen to IG Comer's response today on Johnny Bola Dane's question. It speaks volume. Okay, gentlemen, we can read all of this.
It's very long. Yeah, I went through it myself. Yeah.
But hoping that our man can place this on the on camera so that people can see as well. Now, gentlemen, this is the new dimension to all of this. Let's hear from you, Anthony Law.
Well, first, I did not speak on the comment from Jangako, Anthony Jangako.
Okay, fine.
And aside from that, also there's another comment by former Finance Minister Samuel Tue. I just read that too as well. As I sit here going through my phone, seeing all of the various comments, and also with the issue today with former Representative Moses Akaros Gray. What this speaks, and I said it in my opening comment, that these are political times. And if care is not taken, we could spin this whole thing around politics and we'll not get to the nitty-gritty of what we are looking for. So it is good that we allow the law to take its course. It is good that we accord everybody their rights. I do not see the forcibly removal of former Representative Akaros Gray from the grounds of the police has been necessary at all costs. He's just alone. Whether he was creating nonsense, there's still a way that the police will handle that. You don't, irrespective of who he is, he's a former representative. He served 2 terms. We have to accord him some level of respect. God forbid if he dies today, they will take him to the Capitol building and put the Liberian flag over his coffin, which shows that he actually served the state at some level. Same way with former Vice President Joa Howard Taylor, because she was a sitting senator. So we need to treat these people with some level of respect and dignity, irrespective of what we think that they are involved in. Because our Constitution talks about presumption of innocence until found guilty before a court of competent jurisdiction. You cannot now start holding these people and say, oh, because their name is involved, so we have to outcast them. My caution to the police and all state security is that, look, let's handle these things with care, let's be responsible, let's make sure that the law takes its course. With Martin Colley's new stuff that he's putting out, I think these are staggering revelations, because this is the same Martin Colley that unearthed the relationship with Biago and quote unquote the cartel. At the end of the day, the president instituted an investigation. Biago, in fact, Biago himself was the one that asked that he wanted to step aside to give the investigation a chance. I think with these allegations, what more facts that Martin Colley has, the joint security outside of Mr. Gregory Cuomo now should be reaching out to Martin and say, look, what evidence do you have? If you can send those evidence to us, the justice minister whom Gregory reports to may ask Gregory, say, based on evidence that we receive, we think you have to recuse yourself from these processes, and then they can now forward that to the president for his decision, because Gregory or all those within the executive appointed officials work at the word of the president, so he has the authority to ask him to step aside once those evidence are actually incriminating.
Okay.
Yeah, but what I'm seeing so far, yes, again, these are just allegations. We're waiting for Martin Colley, as he said, he will provide more evidence. Let's see those evidence. Let's see where the cars came from. I've seen some of these vehicles around. Sometimes, in fact, you even ask question, because I asked for once. I saw one of those vehicles, I think, on a weekend, on Saturday, and I was like, no, but these are very expensive cars. And I know that there is a law that nobody's supposed to buy a vehicle above $45,000. But you see somebody driving a car of almost $100,000, and you ask yourself, but is this person above the law, or is this part of maybe?
So you've seen some of those cars before?
I've seen some of those cars.
I think I need to be checking around myself. Let's hear from you. Let's hear from you. Because I don't go around.
You don't like Brent lecturing, or
sure.
Those things. It's disturbing. It's disturbing. Let me take our minds back to the entire genesis of these investigations. Martin Colley has been one of those individuals who has been unearthing some of these major investigations, and I can remember clearly that I think his personal investigation has been supporting the investigation. To some extent, the president has acted upon his mounting investigation in the case of Biago. If you follow the case of even those GLM's mergers company and the Adobe, the Adobe, that's the Abdul Kamara, Abdullah, I want to be correct. That's to say is that the issue is clear. And from the beginning, a lot of people have been suggesting that there's a time for Gregory, the Inspector General, to recuse himself in this investigation. But right now, it is being more complicated if for any reason with what Mountain is reporting, and then it is being substantiated with pieces of evidence. That is not about he just resigning, but he will have to be subjected also for investigation. But again, one of the things that we see happening in the cycle of this joint security, especially with the recent case of the LDA boss, former LDA boss Biago, who knows whether would that also repeat itself in the case of Inspector General Gregory Cuomo if tomorrow Martin provides these pieces of evidence. We will not see the president coming out to say conduct investigation, instructing the justice minister, and if investigation is conducted, they bow down to say, oh, that was not any kind of being linked to the cartel, but instead that was administrative ineptitude. Who knows, that will come again. But I'm saying at this point it is moving beyond imagination. The investigation is actually taking a multiple twist, and I think it is hard time that to save the credibility of the investigation and to uphold public confidence. I think it's imperative enough for the Inspector General to resign. And when these pieces of evidence come out, he should be willing to subject himself for investigation.
Dave, let's hear you.
Yeah, Martin Mountain is doing well. Just quite recently, one of the findings, compelled Biago from the LDA to resign or to step aside. And now he has come up with another findings this time around about the police inspector general. So, but his recommendation, or his asking the police director to resign or confess, I mean, it's not enough. I think the availability of the evidence, or pieces of evidence that he has, if you send them to the investigators or the relevant authorities, they will use that if necessary to ask the police inspector general to step aside because of the evidence that Mountain has adduced. So, but for now, the police director is not going to say, okay, I'm stepping aside because somebody wants me to step aside or resign. Or the president will dismiss the police director or suspend him because somebody wants that. So, I mean, the law is the law. And so the president will, in whose confidence the inspector general works, the president still has confidence in him,
Okay.
and is not considering dismissing until it is proven beyond reasonable doubt that Gregory has some link to the cartel, and the pieces of evidence that are available to link him to that.
You listen to the Nighttime Heat directed on Prime FM 105.5. Kindly share the live video. We are streaming live on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. Just tap Nighttime Heat. You're going to follow the show online. Also, we are streaming live on our Prime FM Roville 105.5. Let's hear you, Mr. Pascal Davis. Your thoughts on Mountain's latest posts.
Sabo.
Yes, sir. Let's hear you.
Sabo.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, we're hearing you, sir.
Sabo.
Let's hear you.
Hello.
I think you have to go off and come back on because it seems like
Okay. So I'm on. Sabo, you got me?
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, quickly.
He's hearing you. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So, yeah, I'm hearing you. All right. So, Biago stepped aside simply because a car was produced. A car was shown to us. I don't think there were buckets of evidences because a car was displaced. In fact, he did not only step aside because Martin posted car. He stepped aside because they said there was ethical breaches. People who are educated, people who are school, people who are morally upright, people who are intelligent, people who are very, very, I don't know what kind of adjectives. In those kinds of cases, intelligent people will step aside for the sake of expediency, because you don't want to get complicated. You don't want to be compromised. You can be clouded with these different allegations, and you still sit on top of an investigation of a case worth $336 million. On the backdrop of that, intelligent people like us will join Mountain to ask Gregory to step aside. Only people who are belly-driven, only people who see this country as their personal property will believe that yes, because Gregory is powerful, because he beat on citizens and disrespect everybody, he's supposed to be in a position. But someone, let me say this. Mountain has helped this investigation. Now on the Mountain, journalists, the media has equally helped. All the names that went, I mean, the likes of Moses Jala, the likes of Patrick Kumanzu, the likes of Momolu Jala, the rest of them, their names were being mentioned by Ronnie C.A. If the media had not been in the drug issue, I don't know where the country could have been. So on the basis of that, intelligent people, Martin, thank you for helping the president. So we are calling on President Boubacar to ensure that Gregory step aside, because his presence will not only undermine the investigation, it will impede the investigation. That's why people like us are calling for him to step aside.
Okay, let's go there. you spoke on the Martin issue, right, Mr. Wion?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's try to listen to the press statement or the press conference held today by the government, the Minister of Foreign, the Minister of Justice. Let's hear him.
Fellow Liberians, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, the government of Liberia, through the Ministry of Justice, wants to inform the public that former Vice President Joe Howard Taylor has been formally charged in connection with the ongoing investigation into an alleged transnational narcotics network on the Republic of Liberia. Madam Howard Taylor was stopped from departing Liberia at Roberts International Airport and subsequently taken to the headquarters of the Liberian National Police. Following investigative procedures, a review of the evidence presented by the Joint National Security Investigative Team, she has been charged with the following offenses. Under the Controlled Drug and Substance Act of 2023, violation of Section 14.83, unlicensed importation of a controlled drug or substance. Violation of Section 14.85, unlicensed sale, trading, administration, dispensation, delivery, distribution, dispatch in transit, and transportation of a controlled drug or substance. And violation of Section 14.93, illicit trafficking of a controlled drug or substance. Under Chapter 10 of the Penal Law of Liberia, violation of Section 10.2, criminal solicitation. Violation of Section 10.3, criminal facilitation. A violation of Section 10.4, criminal conspiracy. Under the Anti-Money Laundering and Terrorist Financing Law, violation of Section 15.2, money laundering. The government further announces that the following alleged members and organizers of the same transnational narcotics network have been similarly charged in absentia. 1. Nicola Avensi, a Croatian national. 2. Mehulvil Vorvik, a Croatian national. And 3. Tara Zeriko, a Ukrainian national. We have the pictures here for your information. We'll be circulating them to the press. The Ministry of Justice will pursue all lawful domestic and international measures necessary to locate, apprehend, and bring these. Meanwhile,
let's end it at that point. I think our major concentration is the issue of the charges, and it's good that we have a legal mind to understand as to what those charges are, and looking at them and hearing also the Minister of Justice, violation of Section 14.83, unlicensed importation of a controlled drug or substance. Now, let's talk about this first. We want you to help us to understand this.
So basically, the law under the penal code in some instances, and even under the criminal procedure law, prescribe punishment for some of these charges or offenses, if we may have call it or so. But in many instances, that will be at the description of the judge, based on the gravity of the crime. Drugs in itself is an unbillable offense. Again, it depends on the person's involvement. Like I said in my opening statement, the state has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, because there will be jurors. And if those jurors come with a guilty verdict, based on that, looking at the involvement of the person or the accused, the judge sometimes will decide how the sentencing might be based on the person's.
The question I'm trying to ask you, because I know there are others who are listening to us who will not understand.
Understand? Yeah.
Now, let me ask you.
But those are serious offenses.
Fine,
Yes.
Let me ask you this way. Violation of section 14.83, unlicensed importation of a controlled drug or substance. Now, what is it? Is the state saying that, or the Ministry of Justice saying that the former vice president was involved with unlicensed importation of drugs in the country?
But that's what the charges is saying there. Is in plain English.
Okay.
That she was importing drugs without having license.
Yeah. Imagine. Okay. Yeah. Now let's go to the second one. Violation of section 14.85, unlicensed sales and trading, and administration, dispensation, delivery, distribution, dispatch, in transit, and transportation of a controlled drug or substance. So again, is the state saying that she was selling?
She was distributing, she was transporting. Of course.
We're going to talk about that more and more because it's strange, you know. It's good that we have it on the program. It's good that we have it now. Let's go to number 3. Violation of section 14.93, illicit trafficking of a controlled drug or substance. Again,
it means that she's involved with trafficking of narcotics.
These are huge crimes.
That's why I said, and if you listen to my opening statement, I say this is going to be an uphill battle for the state because you have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt
how she was transporting,
how she was importing,
how she was dispensing.
Huge quantity without authorization.
I couldn't get one. I mean,
of money illegally across borders based on the trade, whatever trade that she has been accused that she was involved with.
Wow. Okay.
So these are very serious crimes.
Serious and major crimes.
They even have, I think, criminal conspiracy, criminal cohesion, and all of those things.
So what is that criminal conspiracy and cohesion also?
Well, criminal conspiracy means that she conspired with other people in order to
carry on the trade.
To carry on the trade or so, yeah. But again, you know, it's easy for the state to come up with these crimes. And like I said, now the process is that it is the Ministry of Justice that have come up with the crime, not the police, not the court. So they will have to now forward all of these charges to the county attorney, who will now call the grand jury for a sitting, and then those charges will be passed over to the grand jury based on evidence, based on the evidences, and then the grand jury now will meet to see if there are probable cause or if all of these, you know, crimes that the police has alleged actually, you know, there are evidence to prove this crime. Yes, indeed, she was involved with the crime, so therefore she should be prosecuted. The grand jury can also say, based on all of the evidence that the state provided, we see no probable cause to hold Madame Jewel responsible, so they will return a bill of ignoramus. Those are, you know, just legal terms or so, and then the case die right there. So all the noise that you know go on sometimes could get anywhere where the grand jury meet and don't actually see that all of what you put here make no sense. So that's why sometimes we law enforcement have to be very careful on the charges that you're putting on these individuals, because like you're saying, like you said, I did more kimia. Charges beyond a reasonable doubt. If a single doubt exists in any of those charges, it works in the interest of Madam Joao Taylor.
Wow.
So,
No, you are not permitted to ask questions. Mr. Davis, Pascal, let's hear from you. I think you've heard the interpretation of those crimes, of those charges that have been placed on the former vice president. Are you appalled? Are you shocked by that, or what?
You know, someone you are interesting, but I think the police and the government have won. They have won because Joel at least will spend 2 nights at the Monrovia Center prison. Basically, this is how they win cases. I'm not surprised, and I will not be shocked by the actions of the government. I may not be a legal person, but yes, we're being around. We've heard some of these different charges. I mean, with Moses Jala, the same similar charges. With Johnny Boladin, of course, the same similar charges. Except maybe for 1 or 2. All of us know what money laundering is. I mean, you taking money from here that is not so clean and sending it elsewhere. That's in my mind, if fully we want to agree, it's money laundering. Of course, we know what criminal facilitation is. I mean, you aid the process of criminality. I mean, that's what it means. All of us know what illicit drug trafficking is. I mean, of course, but I'm shocked with this issue of unlawful importation of controlled drugs. Again, I mean, I don't know whether people are less in Liberia before they import drugs. I don't know what is happening on this government where they license people to import drugs. Again, I may be confused with that. I may not have much idea. Fambo can help us out. But these are normal charges. I mean, these are things that the government will come up with as to whether they have these evidences to back all of the charges. It's one thing all of us need to check out for. But I want to believe Joel, who has served this country. Remember, you know, this woman is so unique and organized. For me, I always follow people. When George was president, Joel was vice president. Joel lost a case with the Liberal Marketing Association while sitting as vice president. That's how tolerant the city's government was. I mean, we saw she went to court, she lost the case, of course. So as to whether this government has got all of the evidence to deduce in court to have this person convicted, it's a $1 million question that all of us need to answer. But again, with the kind of repetitionship, without value, I think these are just Booker charges and it's going nowhere. Thank you.
Okay, now, gentlemen, the reason why we've taken more time on this, it seems that we now have Mr. Sandra Johnson, former senator of Bomi County, and besides, he's the head of the Taylor's family, which I don't know whether he's still, but I think he still has the Taylor family. Let's hear from you. Former Senator Sandra Johnson. I know initially I've said that I would have called you up. I tried placing the call, but it's good that you've called back. First, let's get your initial reaction.
Well, let me just say I'm not the head of the Taylor family. I serve as a spokesperson for former President Taylor.
Okay.
While the family was going on.
Okay.
And I'm going to do the same thing as Vice President Joel Taylor. Once you illegally and politically try to harass any member of the Taylor family, we send her in your hand. If it cause that, then let us die.
Now you were at the police station this morning. Can you bring us up to speed what you saw and heard?
Well, this afternoon, after she was disgracefully arrested, in fact, they wanted to handcuff her and from the airport with almost a truck full of policemen wearing masks, armed. And then they called that invitation. She was dragged to the police headquarters. And then later on, I went to the police headquarters. I met her in the police director's conference room. And when she was sitting, I sat there with her and her sister for like 25 minutes. But I mean, Madam Taylor is strong. I respect her and I trust her and we talk. And I knew we concluded that she's not guilty, she's innocent, she's not involved. She has never done that. She has a decent life. She has lived a decent life. And there is a political and criminal charges that they put on her. So she was calm, she was okay. And then later on, we briefed that they were going to charge her today and then subsequently follow her to the magistrate court and to the University of Central Prison on tomorrow. That's what happened today when I was there with her. But she was okay. She was laughing. She was calm. And all she said, I'm innocent. And I believe innocent. I believe she had no place to fire in this drug state. Jojo, the president's son, was named. And he said, the people communicated with him, responded. Have they ever invited him to go have they ever invited him for confession? No. So he should have been one of the persons of interest. But they would not do that. Instead of going after the real people, they wanted to dismantle they are in there to dismantle the CDC. And so that's what I'm telling you. If you want to dismantle the CDC, leave Joel alone. So that's what happened today at the police station.
Now, when you heard that she will spend nights at the police headquarters, how did you feel?
Well, I felt very bad because she was not her rights were violated and she was not given any due process today. She was already arrested, disgraced, and brought to the police station in less than 7 hours. Criminal charges were leveled against her. And I can tell this, she will disgrace them, she will defeat them. Once this trial is free of politics, it's free of interference, and the judge, because we already have compromised judge anyway, or the judiciary is being compromised and controlled by the executive. For all of that, all of those aside, and the trial is transparent, free, fair, she will disgrace them. They have no evidence.
Okay, now being the spokesperson of the Taylor's family, you were the spokesperson of Mr. Taylor when his trial was ongoing. Now I'm sure you're going to be the spokesperson for Joel. Did you phone Mr. Taylor today? Did you have any phone?
No, I haven't spoken with him. I haven't spoken with Mr. Taylor for a while. Yes, indeed, I have decided willingly, without any compensation, I will take over as the official spokesperson for Mr. Taylor. I will do that, and I will do it to the best of my ability.
Now, but you are a member of the CMC, although I know you've been a former member of the MPP. Why can't you concentrate with the CMC now than to want to get involved with Joel Howard Taylor, a former vice president?
Being in the CMC is different, and attaching myself as family president with Joel is different. So there are two different things. I'm speaking on behalf as a family president, and I'm also speaking as an opposition member because it seems there's an opposition political party. So that it makes no difference. So the fact that it is an opposition political party and the MPP is in the opposition, and so and Joel being a family president to me, so I have all right to speak with her, and my party doesn't have any problem with that.
So what's happening now is the Taylor family. Are you trying to put into place a strong team of lawyers?
Yes. Today we were represented by two distinct lawyers of our time, Councilor Subu and Cabinet Janet, and there will be other lawyers added to the team. And I should be aware the national chairman of the NPP is also Anthony Arroyo. So we have a lot of legal people and we have a lot of political people. So while the legal party is strong, we are on the political party. And that's what I said this afternoon, that the opposition is very weak. There is the time that the opposition hold together. There is the time that they speak with one voice. There is the time that we put senses in the ruling party head. If we don't do anything, those brokers will wreck the election in 2029 because they are already concluding that we are weak. So we have to show them strength, political strength. If we don't do that, they will wreck the damn election in 2029 and we say they put our hand between our legs. because that is their plan. And that's what I said. The entire United Party, intention is to dismantle CDC. Instead of focusing on why they were elected and providing goods and services to the country, they want to bring down the CDC at all costs.
Okay.
And so everyone has to wake up.
Now, before I take leave of you, Mr. Sandra Johnson, former Bromley County Senator, you are amongst the voices, in fact, that been beating on the government to bring people to book who are involved or allegedly involved with this whole drug trafficking. Now today they decided to step up their games by bringing in someone, the former vice president, who they believe is linked as what?
Traveling, and this government was fully aware who is traveling at the airport. You disgrace, so then you call that justice? This is a complete misuse of power and abuse of power, and we have to stand tall to them. If not, they will do it to everybody because the United Party want to perpetuate ourselves into power for the rest of their existence. We're not going to allow that somewhere.
Okay.
It's not about justice. It is a wish hunt. It is intended to intimidate the opposition community. That's what they are involved with. But some of us, we are not voices. You can't scare all with anything. We use the name. And so we stand tall in this fight.
Thank you, former Bromley County Senator Sandra Johnson. Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Okay. Now, gentlemen, let's go around the table quickly. I have to open the lines.
Yeah, we're almost out of time,
to just get your takeaway from Sandra Johnson quickly.
Well,
I
listened to the former lawmaker. Let me say this. I said it that we need to be very careful how we deal with these things because it has to do with people's reputation. It has to do with the opposition community. We're not saying shoot anybody who's involved with this whole quote unquote cartel. I think, and I strongly believe, we can do it professionally. We can do it in the way that even the population themselves see that we've been actually transparent, open in this process. But when you start to muscle people, when you try to embarrass them, what has happened now? The embarrassment is already out there. The video for the way Hydro were treated today has gone beyond our borders. People are seeing it. Oh, this woman was the former first lady. She's the wife of former President Taylor. She was a senator. She was this. Oh, she's involved with when she has not even gone to court. She's already been, public guilt. People start spraying in all kinds of ways. So I think our security apparatus just needs to be professional. Like you said, Gregor knew that she was traveling. So if Gregor knew that she was traveling, Gregor knew her number because as soon as she called him, he picked up the phone. She was in the car. All Gregor would have done, if he knew that there was a plan to arrest her this morning, Gregor would have called her last night, Madam, we need you at the police station by 7 o'clock. We know that you're traveling. Can you please come to the police station? Joe Howard Taylor, being a counselor at law, would have driven to the police station this morning rather than going to the airport. She would have canceled her ticket and drive to the police station, would have saved ourselves all of these embarrassments.
Okay.
So basically, looking at the multiplicity of the charges, that which I didn't speak about, look, the government is very strategic. And that's why many times we as journalists, when we look into the cases, we say, look, there's a need for professionalism to be upheld at the highest standard. And all of those charges, about 6 charges being leveled against the former, VP. These are all grave concerns, and I'm kind of seeing as to whether if she's taken to court, to what extent can her lawyer, put the pieces of defense counsel together, or better still, put a very crack defense team in order to withstand the prosecutors, or the evidence from the state prosecuting the case. But I think with what Mr. Former Senator of Bromley County, Sandra Johnson, said, of course he has a right as a citizen, and with a relationship with former Charles Taylor, and he's saying that I think this is time. But I think we need to try to see our best to reduce the political spin from this investigation. because it's not helping the process. So even those from the opposition and those from the opposition, the manner and form in which we are becoming to politically analyze this entire situation is not going to help the investigation. So I think it's start time to give the investigation chance and let the investigators do their job, and the leader will be taken to court. And once she gets to court, her defense team will have to pull out a very strong defense, and the state will be under pressure or under the obligation, let me have it a better word, to provide the pieces of evidence, how she conspired, who she conspired with, how she facilitated, what she facilitated, and what she transported, the money laundering, how much was that, the figure, all of these things. So the state has a very huge responsibility in this.
Okay, Dave.
We all have a role. I agree with you on that. Let the justice system be given chance. We all have a role to play. All what we're doing, all the arguments and disagreements and agreements is all about protecting the integrity of the investigation of the case. That's why we having all these disagreements. But something the former senator said, he said he expects the investigation to be transparent and free of politics. Well, at the same time, he's politicizing the case. He's not helping the case. He's prejudicing it. The fact that you're a former senator, you have a voice, very strong voice, because you serve in the Liberian Senate. You have a strong voice. So your views on these kind of situations should be in a manner that supports the justice system, because if you say the intent of the government of arresting people or calling people to investigation is about wanting to steal elections tomorrow, I think that's not fair to the investigation.
Okay, let me hold you there, Dave, and go to Pascal quickly. We will have to open the lines briefly. Callers are coming. Pascal, quickly. Let's hear you.
Saba.
Yes, sir.
And
quickly.
to my brother William, nobody is on money the investigation. That's why Joel tonight is in South Beach. It is the process, the procedures, the manner and form is being done that is giving all of us the conclusion that this investigation is not passionately done. This is our point. It must be done impartially. So we are not saying that people should not go to account for what they did against the state. Nobody have said that. Joa is at the Moravia Center prison. She didn't obstruct justice today. But the manner and form in which it was done can give all of us the clue that the government is going after the people in the opposition. But to Sandra Johnson, no. We are not weak. We are on a civilized. We are on a decent opposition. We are not cruel. We are not wicked. We are not so immoral like the ones in the past. Yes, I remember President Baka protested. I remember Senator Dillon protested. I remember Senator Yomblika protested. I remember Senator Moe protested. In this government, we've been in us in opposition. We are not protesting. We want to follow the law. But it is the process which is now fair, which in my mind undermine the process itself is what we caution you today. So let people remain their family to say the way in which the government is proceeding is very wrong. This is what we say.
086-050507 or 0778-460-793. The lines are now open. Call us up and let's hear you quickly. Your name? Yes, sir.
How you doing, man?
Okay, let's hear you quickly.
Amen. God bless you for the talk. Let me tell you something. Let the Lord take the course. Somebody, we say you are in Nigerian. Every day, these things, they got people deceiving them, they're hiding the people. Look, let the Lord take a course. Nobody must defend that woman. Let the woman go and clear her side. If she involved inside, she must bear the penalty, let her go to jail. She's not better than any other Nigerian. We voted them. It does not mean they are more than us, man. People will not take it to be political.
Okay. We're not taking long talk too much. Let's take another call on the line. Let's hear you.
Good evening, Soba. Good evening to all of the panelists. Thank you for the discussion.
Okay.
My point has to do with our government. This is our government. But the proceeding sometimes can bring problem to our government. Now, the lady was not communicated to. She don't have any anything that occasion for the police or for the court to have her arrested, and you know her number. Why can't you call her and tell us, oh yeah, you are near the police station. You were allowed to go to the airport. Our government had tried so many Google cases and lost everything. Since our government came to power, they are now one case because they don't know how to handle issue. And they don't get the facts. When you get the facts, then you come, I bet you now, I'm saying it now. They kids that you don't draw out there on 1 Friday again, like Samuel 12. I'm telling you, they put in that fire, they just go up and come out and call them. It shouldn't be doing that kind of thing of bringing our government to public rescue.
Okay, all right. Let's take another call on the line quickly. Let's hear you.
Good evening, Sabo.
Yes, sir.
Good evening to your voting studio. My name is Mervyn Jawi. I come on the 16th.
Okay.
You know, Sabo is a sad day for Liberia. But some people think that Liberian people are fools, that they try to persuade the political issues. When the government said that there was a high level feature involved in the case, people said the government should call names. Today, the government is trying to identify some people, they try to trivialize it to which one. It's now cool. People that after the Johnson, they should know that Liberian people are up to the signal now. We're going to be misled by them. They all give the legal signal a chance. Me here now, I'm saddened by the issue. But I'm hoping that the legal system will take place. I will see HGB as right there.
Okay.
So let's look at the justice system, please, sir.
Okay, many thanks. Let's take another call on the line quickly. Let's hear you.
Yeah. Good evening.
Yes, sir.
I'm Jim Squaddy. I call you from UN Drive.
Let's hear you, sir.
Yeah. So, but you know, we should not limit our understanding about the issue. The question is the police action justified or unjustified? It will depend on the result of the investigation. If it is proven that it is true that she connected somehow, then the police action is justified. If it is proven that she's not connected, then of course the police action is unjustified. But let me tell you this, sometimes you can be doing favor and that favor can turn to bad. I don't think Madam Joy Howard Taylor will see a danger and get involved with it. But sometimes you can be getting involved with something without knowing the danger that will cause for you in the future.
Correct. Yeah.
And I think that's what you're going through, because the investigator will not have clue somehow to just connect her to these issues or the investigation. So let me just make a case. Let me just give you a quick example. You could host me while I'm seeking humanitarian grant from you. You keep me in your house, but you don't know that I have a role, and I started going and committed stealing. And when they catch me, somebody say, "Oh, but sorry, man, it's our house." Now, someone is not a criminal in the community, but someone was keeping me for humanitarian ground. Now I'm a criminal. The law does not excuse you. Law don't have sympathy. So the law will hold you sober.
Okay.
So that's some of the things we'll look at. Let's broaden our knowledge in this kind of thing. Okay? Everybody loves Jua. She's former vice president. But we can't run the fight because we don't know who the cartel are, who assists the cartel. We don't know until the investigator can tell us. Okay.
Okay. Many thanks. 086-0505 070778 460-793. Again, 0778-460-793. That's the number to call, and you are live. That's the numbers to call, rather, and you are live. 086. Let's take this caller quickly. We'll take 3 more calls and wrap it up. Let's hear you.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Sober.
Yes, sir.
It's a blessing to be on this show. This is Pastor Lana Project and Communical Pastor Sefi.
Okay.
My attention is drawn to the issues of politicizing everything in this country. We love Liberia. The statement we love is a broad statement. When you say you love Liberia, it doesn't mean that you love the whole box of the nation. There is everything in the nation you love. While it's true that Liberians, we are looking for the best out of our country, let also be a show that no one is above the law. No one is above the state. The state is above every one of us. The invitation given to the VP today, to the former VP today, does not mean that she's being indicted or the final verdict are not being given. It was an invitation, come and prove your case, whether you know something about it or not. Even me, as I'm driving, if anyone has to stop my car now and say to me, "Oh, dear God, let's ask you so and so question," or "We are inviting you to so and so place," somebody who is in uniform, I must adhere to it. I am not above the law.
Okay.
Let no one politicize these issues. That we are witch hunting, this person is witch hunting. For me as a pastor, and for everybody in this country, I only need the right thing to be done. Thank you.
Okay, many thanks. We're taking 2 more calls. 086 05 05 07. Let's take this caller. Let's hear you. Hello? Yes, sir. Let's hear you quickly. Okay.
So let me say this. You see, this is why I will continue supporting President Baka because he said in a quote, no president, no ballot in the people of Labrador that will be shield when the issue of Mr. Man for guy issue, man. I'm a young person. Does it affect me immediately? I leave. Yeah, just tonight, as I speak to you, I told somebody do not load my car. You know my car glasses, I mean broken. Just because I say do not load my car, Mr. Joe. Why? Where the left people want to see our live by the command Mexican formula. Hey, Mr. George. Let me view my brother.
Okay, thank you.
We are the forerunner of the government.
Okay, many thanks. Gentlemen, passing comment quickly so we can leave. Dave?
Yes, it was a good show, sir, but as Liberians, we have to always make sure that the law takes its course. The way we handle legal issues, the way we approach legal issues as far as our country is concerned. I mean, I don't know what that happens in other countries. Everybody wants to go to the United States, think that it's heaven because they enforce their law. Their law does not sympathize with anybody. The fact that you're caught in the legal dragnet, you'll be called or you'll be arrested for the investigation. But when that happens in Liberia, some of the people would expect to educate the masses. They are the one that can be fueling this kind of attention in the country, like Sandra Johnson sounded.
Okay, thank you.
It's been a great show, Sabo. So I would like to say, given the gravity of what Martin has posted just few hours ago, I think it is imperative enough that the Inspector General do the honorable thing by resigning instead of waiting for Martin to pull up, because Martin has given him ultimatum for the 8 hours. So I think the best he can do for himself to save the integrity of the ongoing investigation is to recuse himself and probably subject himself for investigation. That's all I can say. Tomorrow we'll be back as always. Thank you. It's been a great show.
It was a good show, as always. Our call here is not to shield anyone, it's not to give preferential treatment to anyone, but I do strongly believe that the way in which our security apparatus operates, sometimes they have to take away the sentiments, because when you bring sentiments into these things, it creates the whole political undertone, which in itself derailed the actual process of what you're trying to get at. So I think they should have handled this properly. They should have invited the former vice president today. Say, come to the police station in as much as you're traveling, but you need to come to clear your name or otherwise you're so. And Jewel being a lawyer, I don't think she was going to in any way inadvertently disrespect the police or so. But the police showed today did not show professionalism at all.
Okay, thank you. Pascal, let's hear you quickly. Okay, he's off. Now, gentlemen, let me first reference some of our viewers quickly from the whole. Vinicius Junior Bai also watching. Emmanuel Pro from the USA always watching. Victor Malva always watching. Julie Brown always watching. Rebecca Richards always watching from the USA. Hakim Jamate always watching. Khalifa Soman Jackson always watching. Mantunia Son always watching. Honorable Papi Success Keita always watching. Hiton Rajero always watching. Olo Otto always watching. Daniel Graham always watching. And the rest of you can call all of you. John tomorrow. But this is what my grandparents used to say. When you showing you pointing the right hand, or you pointing one finger, the other ones are wild. Pointing back to you. Until then, join us tomorrow. Sabo George is my name. Have a pleasant time.